Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. In our last video we hammered this out on the anvil off of a piece of a utility trailer spring. We're real thick. We gotta grind this down, get her a little thinner for a hunting knife, and we gotta work on our overall profile, get that squared away a little better. So it's Wednesday night. I've got till Friday to get this thing finished. So I've got tonight and tomorrow night to get this thing done. Because he'll be leaving Friday. He'll work Friday and then he'll be leaving. So I need to be able to take this to work Friday to give to him so he can take it hunting. So we got our work cut out for us. We're going to get to grinding and on this thing and try to get it ground and get as far as we can get tonight. And then we'll try to finish it up tomorrow night. So let's get to work. Alright guys, so we've got our blade here. I've got my big welding magnet. Makes it much easier to hold it. We'll get our face mask on here. And get our face shield on. All geared up, and let's take some meat off of this thing. I put a brand new 36 grit belt on our 40 grit, and you can just see how all these black spots, these dark spots here are the spots that are low. Well, there we are. We've got our knife profiled. Our rough bevels are ground in it. Got the old initial stamp in it there. And that's the sound we want to hear. Skate the file real nicely. We didn't pick up any warps. It's straight as an arrow. You can see that. So we're good with that. We're ready to take it upstairs, put it in the oven for a couple of tempering cycles. I like to temper my knives twice for an hour apiece at about 425 degrees. And she should bounce pretty nice. When you take it like this on the, right now it might snap because it hasn't been tempered, but when you bounce it like this on hard surface, it'll ding, 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 you know. We'll show you that once it's tempered, but all in all, we took half of the meat out of this thing. Thank gosh for that. Thank goodness for that 2x72 Oregon blade maker, because if I was still using that little Harbor Freight thing, I'd have been here for a lot longer than I was. As it was, we're looking at 8:30. So total time on this, I think I started in on this at around 6 o'clock, somewhere in there. So 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours that we took half the meat out of it this way. I decided not to go ahead and thin it down this way. I mean, I think that's pretty decent size. You can use that both to clean your animal and to skin it, I believe, without too much trouble. So we put our finger grooves in here, finished our clip point profile. We ground our rough bevels in here, stamped our little logo in it, drilled our pinholes for in our tang for our handles, and we got it heat treated. So now we're going to go throw it in the oven and temper it for a couple of cycles, and then tomorrow night we're going to go ahead and get finished cleaning it up, get it cleaned up real nice, get our handles and our scales and the scale liners put on it, and I believe we can have us a hunting knife by tomorrow evening. So I was going to make him a scabbard, but I didn't have time. Just too many irons in the fire, too much going on, but I will make him one. It's just not going to be ready for him to go hunting, but he said he has a spot in his backpack that he can stick this bad boy in and take it with him. So so we got a lot accomplished tonight in about 2.5 hours. I would work on the rest of it, but it's 8:30 now. We're looking at 2 hours of tempering, and there has to be a cool down time in between, because I'll temper it for an hour at 425, then we'll let it cool off to the touch again, 10-15 minutes. Then we'll put it back in again for another hour at the same temperature. And then she should be tempered up nicely. Should be able to bend it real nicely if you need to without breaking it. And it should hold an edge really well. So tomorrow night we will clean this all up again and make it pretty. We'll put our handles on first. And the last thing we'll do is we'll grind our final edge into this thing, and we should have it ready for him to take it to him Friday morning at work, because that's the last I'll see of him for a week or so. He'll be gone hunting. So we still gotta cut our little thumb grooves in right here, and that handle feels pretty good. It's nice and easy to hang on to. It's going to be nice to hang on to, and a good grip. So there she is, guys. Hey, join me again tomorrow night. We'll finish this thing up. I appreciate y'all being here. Oh, I wanted to apologize. That last little bit of grinding you saw me doing, I forgot to put my face mask on again. Sometimes I do that, man. I get pushed for time, or I'm in a hurry trying to get something done, and I screw up and forget something like that. I really try not to do that very often. I try to wear that mask because you're just essentially breathing metal shavings into your lungs. That can't be good, right? So, thankfully for the main grinding half of that steel, I mean, look at that. This thing was almost as thick as this big chopper. So we ground half of that away. That's a lot of steel in a knife that size. We ground half of that again away from this knife. That's a lot of steel and crap flying through the air. So thankfully I had that on the vast majority of the time. It was just that last little bit where I was grinding those finger holes and what have you, and those few passes on the bevels that I forgot to put it back on. So always wear your gear, guys. Wear your safe. At least I have smart enough to have my face shield on. Always wear your gear, guys. And protect yourself. It's not worth the injury that you get in your shop. And I know I used to feel the same way. I think, well, I can just grind this one thing. You know, it's not going to hurt. But then there's that one more thing, and then, oh, this little bit, you know what I mean? So I really do try to remember to put that stuff on, because after years and years of, oh, I can grind this one little thing, without, you know, you can cause yourself some real damage. So always protect your eyes, guys, and protect your respiratory system. If I'm grinding with my angle grinder, I wear my gloves. Not so worried about it on the 2x72, because if that belt breaks, it might slap me, you know, but it'll hit that face shield. But it's not going to take a finger off or something like an angle grinder wheel will. If it breaks or shatters, they can do some serious damage. So again, I appreciate y'all being here. Get out to your shop and do something, make something, fix something, clean your shop. Mine needs cleaning so freaking bad right now, but I've just got so many things to do. But I will get this thing cleaned up pretty soon. I think once this knife is made, before we finish this one, which we still need to finish, this one's here still needs to be heat treated, tempered, pinholes drilled, all of that stuff. We've just got it kind of cleaned up off the forge and rough bevels ground into it, but it still needs to be cleaned, you know, heat treated, drilled, tempered, all of that. But before we get to that, we're going to clean this nasty, messy shop. I'm going to go this weekend and buy a little, it's like a little portable garage type thing, so I can put my sand rail in it this winter. And it's 17 feet deep by 10 or 11 feet wide. I think it's 11 feet wide and 17 feet deep. The little sand rail is only 10 foot long or so. So that leaves me 7 feet of space in there. There's a lot of stuff in this shop that I can store out there, and it'll be out of the weather. It'll be okay. And I can have some room in this shop once again, and we'll get this thing all cleaned up real nice. So thanks for being here, guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the next one.